It's the Metro on WDET. I'm Tia Graham. Sacred Spaces is more than a tour. It's a celebration of cultural stewardship, collaboration, and the powerful role Black creatives play in shaping the city's identity. Throughout the month, nearly 20 Black-owned galleries, cultural institutions, and creative spaces are opening their doors and cross-promoting one another. They're inviting residents and visitors alike to experience the depth, diversity, and resilience of Detroit's art ecosystem. Misha McGowan is the gallery director and co-founder of Irwin House Detroit on West Grand Blvd. She is also the creator of Sacred Spaces. We begin the conversation learning more about its origins, and later, we talk about the importance of supporting these spaces.
The idea came about just from, I'm a native Detroiter. However, I lived in New York for most of my adult life and returned here a little over 5 years ago to open Irwin House with my aunt, Valerie Irwin. The landscape, the arts landscape here is very different. It's very vibrant. It's very robust. I mean, and you would kind of think everybody feels like New York is the place to be. This is the place to be. This is the place to be. And when I kind of started to take stock of how many Black-owned and operated art spaces there are in the city of Detroit, I realized that was something really unique and it was something really special and something I wanted to celebrate and share with the world. Like, look what we're doing in Detroit. Look what you can do in your city and how we're supporting each other in the arts. So I just thought that was really important to highlight.
And sticking there for a moment, what is that difference that you notice or similarities that you've noticed, especially living most of your adult life in New York and then coming back to the city of Detroit, immersing yourself within this art scene? What are the comparisons and contrasts you've noticed?
Just there's a lot more support for the arts here in Detroit for emerging artists. There are art collectors supporting the artists and supporting the galleries at every level. There is art being created, sold, exhibited at every level. So there's something for everyone, and there's a kind of, no matter what kind of art you like, no matter what your budget is, there is a space here where you can, go and satisfy your art collecting needs. And also there's this kind of intergenerational communication that happens within people in the art community, whether it's collectors and artists, that I don't really see in other places. I don't, for instance, I'm a person of a certain age, and in New York, I don't really have friends that are younger than me or, of a younger generation, unless they're my friends' kids or my kids' friends. I don't have like my own set of people that I communicate with independently that are of other generations. And that's something that I find that's kind of unique to Detroit. I see these interactions that are happening between generations, not just with myself, but with everybody, that I don't really see at that level in other places. And I think it's really important to keep those intergenerational connections going and to keep them strong.
We tend to come back to often with conversations here in the city of Detroit when I'm talking to different artists or people who are within the industry at any level. That's the one thing that they say, mentorship and the cross communication that happens with all generations of artists in the city of Detroit. But I want to go back to Sacred Spaces for a moment and talk about the importance of it, because Sacred Spaces highlights Black-owned and operated arts and cultural spaces. Why is it so important to focus on Black-owned spaces, especially within the art world?
One, just we're supporting Black businesses. First and foremost, these are Black businesses. And it is important that we, first and foremost, support these businesses, not that other people won't, but it's really important that we know where the businesses are, and that we patronize them. And what this
Misha, I'm gonna cut in really quick. We who describe we? Who are
yeah.
we?
Black people. It's important that we support our own. And that's not to say all of my clients, supporters, and even the artists that I work with are Black. They're not. I work with people I like. That is the first criteria. Do we like each other, and do we like do we like your work and your practice? Most of those artists do happen to be Black, because I also understand that these artists don't have as many opportunities to exhibit, to be seen and supported as other artists necessarily. So we do definitely want to make sure we are a space where, black voices, Black concerns, and not just Black, but all minorities, whether it's LGBTQIA or indigenous, you know, people with social and political ideas that might not be able to be seen in other spaces, more commercial spaces. We want to make sure we provide opportunities for them. So first and foremost, these are Black businesses, and we want people to know where these businesses are. And with the project, we provide a guide. And this year, we really wanted to make sure we tried to include every Black owned and operated arts and cultural space in the guide. That's not to say that they all have programming this Black History Month, but these are places that you can visit throughout the year. We have 27 spots on the guide this year, and these will be able to be picked up hopefully at every location on here, whether it's Irwin House or Harper Galleries or the Car Center or Push Gallery at the Liquor Basket. We want to make sure every venue has some of these guides that people can go in and pick up, and that they can visit these spaces all year long.
Misha, I find it interesting as well, just looking at the names and the locations of a lot of these spaces. And the East Side loves art.
Mm-hmm.
The East Side of Detroit has quite a few of the art galleries and spaces, which is not surprising to me at all. But it truly shows you how expansive and creative the city of Detroit is, and how far it all reaches. I mean, this is absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, it's throughout the city, every neighborhood, no matter where you are, there is a gallery you can get to, and you can walk to if you need to. On the east side, of course, we got a lot of spaces across the Avenue of Fashion. We got a cluster in Midtown. So, we're doing this everywhere.
Talk about the importance of putting these down in one space so that people can have a directory.
Yeah, that's the idea. We really want people to use this all year long. We want to update it every year because we do have such a vibrant and lush arts ecosystem here in Detroit. But like any natural habitat, it changes every year. It fluctuates. People close, people move. We have a few venues that are not on the list this year only because they're in the process of moving. We have new venues that come because this space is so inviting and exciting and welcoming. For instance, this year, Marked opened up on Woodward Avenue, within the past year, so they're new on the list. Office Space Gallery last year kind of rebranded and reopened. EMB Contemporary is moving actually from the east side to the west side, so they're going to be opening up at the end of this month on West McNichol. So this is constantly changing, so it's important that we update it every year, but we definitely want to encourage people to use it. And it's exciting. People are happy to get it. When people get this in their hands, they're happy because they don't realize that this many art spaces, Black or otherwise, this is a lot. And this is not even including just, the entire art space. These are just the Black-owned galleries, but people don't realize this many art spaces necessarily exist in Detroit.
And not only do they not understand that they exist or know that they exist, but they don't understand the depths or how deep it goes in terms of Detroit's arts and culture exports. We talk about the past and how long we've been seeing art that is transforming the arts landscape worldwide. A lot of it's coming out of the city of Detroit, which I've learned in the last few weeks, actually, which I didn't know. So can you talk about the knowledge and the understanding that you all want to spread through sacred spaces, especially for those who may not see Detroit in all of its arts glory?
We definitely want to share just the strength of Detroit arts, not just art production, but Detroit is a place of production, period. So it makes sense. Detroit is a place of makers and this kind of cohesion that has been created over decades, really, between Black communities and Black workers. And this is we've sustained and built neighborhoods and communities by banding together and by supporting each other, and in some ways striving to emulate one another. We're inspired by each other. And I think that's a large part of what moves the art community. I see so many artists or would-be artists kind of jump into the pool because they see other people doing it. They see other people succeeding. And it inspires you to do the same. And that is how we learn and grow. If we don't see other people succeeding, we don't have any sense that we can succeed. So it's important for us to see each other. And it's important for people to see this, even other would-be gallery owners. I have a lot of people. There's so many ways to manage and run an art space. All these art spaces are so completely unique, so different. The type of structures that they're in, the ways in which they're housing and exhibiting art is very different. I have a lot of people come to me at Irwin House and they ask, well, how can I do this? And they can. You can do it in your house, or whether it's a storefront, whether it's an alternative space, office space. That's an office. But they have a dedicated gallery space. High Society Detroit I love them. Yeah, they're amazing. It's a bar and lounge, but they have a dedicated art space. So we are really doing this in a multitude of ways.
The Liquor Basket, High Society, the office space. I mean, there are, like you said, there are so many ways that the way you're viewing art, buying art, perceiving art, the spaces that you're in, consuming the art, it's all so unique. And, I can't speak for other spaces, but it feels like it's unique to the country when we think about art in the city and compared to other cities.
Yeah, I don't see this in New York. I've done some work in Philadelphia in the past, and more recently kind of reconnecting there, and I'm not really seeing it there. Yeah, this is Detroit. This is very unique to Detroit, and I think Detroiters have a broad sense of possibility and the ability to create something, and perhaps because even though things are changing and things are not as affordable as they have been in the past, they're still more affordable than they are in other places. So we kind of have a latitude to dream, and to take a space and turn it into something which might be very difficult in a place like New York.
People in the city of Detroit rarely shy away from just trying something or just being open to trying something new and
Yeah.
daring to do it is such a Detroit thing.
Yeah, it definitely is. That is a Detroit characteristic.
Yes. So
Yep.
collaboration itself, when we see Sacred Spaces and something like Sacred Spaces bringing together all of the different Black art galleries and organizations throughout the city of Detroit, how does this collaboration change the energy of Detroit's arts ecosystem? When we're starting to see, especially the fourth year of Sacred Spaces, how have you seen the ecosystem either improve or change since you've started to connect more with people?
Hmm. I hope that it brings us together and brings us more into the awareness of each other as business owners, because this is not easy for any of us. We be going through it, and I know I'm going through it. I keep programming happening, and I keep the doors open, but it's not always a walk in the park for any of us. And we can also become, very singularly focused on what we have to do, on our own survival, which is a necessity. But I think we're moving into a space, nationally, not just, beyond Detroit, and not just in the arts arena, but where we have to be more, we got to look out for each other more. We have to. And that is the only way we survived everything that we've been through as a people. That is the only way we survived, because we supported each other. We did things together. We looked out for each other. Nobody was, just me. That we were not going to get to where we are that way. So, in a way, I think we have to kind of, in consciousness, return to thinking about the collective. And as business owners, we are a collective. As a people, Black people, we are a collective. As artists, you are a collective. And one thing that I do love seeing in Detroit is how the artists work together, and in many cases create opportunities for each other and create opportunities for themselves. They're proactive. And that's something that I do feel I see more here. I used to see it a lot in New York, not so much anymore. Just, it's very hard. It's very hard there. Not that it's not hard everywhere, but the artist community is a little bit more. It's a little less cohesive than it used to be, but that cohesion still exists here, and that's part of what keeps these alliances strong.
What does a sacred space mean to you?
A sacred space is a space that is to be coveted, protected, preserved. I won't say, in some cases, it can mean a space that is exclusive to certain people. And I'm not looking at it that way in this case, but just looking at it in a way that these are spaces that we need to protect and preserve. Yeah, and it's art is, it's kind of a religion in its own way. It can be very spiritual. It's increasingly necessary, for us especially to have this medium in which to tell our stories, to connect to our histories, and to connect other people to our histories. So, all of that is sacred.
Misha McGowan is the gallery director and co-founder of Irwin House Detroit on West Grand Blvd. She is also the creator of Sacred Spaces.